Terraria is one of the best-selling video games ever made, but did you know it has some serious technical problems? Some things simply don't work in Terraria, and for those it doesn't matter how many updates we get, they simply can't be fixed. So what's the problem with Terraria? Terraria has been around for almost a decade now. It climbed from being a small indie game to literally one of the most sold games on the planet ever to exist. Today it's competing in the major class of gaming, or more likely other games are trying to compete with Terraria. Now before Terraria, the lead developer, also known as Regidit, developed a fan-made game known as Super Mario Bros. X, or in short SMBX, which was a mix out of different Mario games. His next game was supposed to be a standalone game. The core idea was the simple yet genius take to combine a classic platforming game with a sandbox of endless fun. And the result is history: Terraria. However, Terraria slowly starts to show age and the underlying engine is a bit dated compared to modern games. While Terraria's architecture has been optimized over the years, the core engine of XNA never changed, which architecture is rooted in 2010 and usually not used any longer. Microsoft itself has stopped the support for the XNA framework on 1st April of 2014, which was not an April Fool's show. However, Terraria is still using it. Now what exactly are the problems? The first issue is multithreading, or to explain it in an easy way, it can't utilize all CPU cores efficiently. Imagine you have 8 cores and our favorite game is just using one of it. Lightning and many background processes all run on one thread, which can cause lag and slowdowns, especially on large worlds with a lot of mobs and bigger builds. This also restricts the world size. The current large world option is pretty much the upper limit for the map size. Any bigger map would most likely cause performance problems and bloated save files. However, this is something where developer or mod author somehow could find ways to hack around those issues, but there is something that Terraria simply can't handle. It limits things like moving platforms and tile-based physics. You may take a look at Minecraft's redstone and especially the pistons. Pistons are one of the most engaging items to build with. They can move blocks in all directions to create massive contraptions and mansions. However, Terraria's engine simply can't take it. Blocks can't be moved, and the way sand falls down actually is not a moving block. It's a graphical illusion, you could say. Falling sand is not a block, it's technically a projectile that simply replaces the sand but doesn't move it. And especially this is part of the reason why many people are on the edge if a Terraria 2 built on a completely different and new engine would be better. Many of those problems could be fixed easily on a modern engine, no problem. No matter if world size, the amount of mobs and graphical things, a new engine could significantly improve on all ends. However, the idea of Terraria 2 comes with a lot of problems. First off, branding. If somehow a second Terraria wouldn't meet the expectations, it would definitely also hurt the reputation of Terraria overall, especially in times where shitstorms rain all over new games on a daily basis. Now, Terraria is in fact the best rated game on Steam ever to exist in relation to the amount of reviews. Terraria's reviews even beating AAA games such as Elden Ring or Wukong on a regular basis. Or in other words, its success is massive, considering it started just like Minecraft as a small indie game project. Would you risk potentially ruining your studio's reputation with a second title that might not work out? It could even damage the franchise more than it does good. Eventually this was part of the reason why Terraria Otherworld never saw the light of the day and was cancelled. But apart from this, let's take a look at modding. Modding has become huge for Terraria, like really huge. On Steam, the TmodLoader at any given time of the day has almost as much or even more player than Terraria itself. And it's no surprise given the existence of outstanding mods like Calamity, The Stars Above or Thorium. And as you might expect, all of these mods would need to be completely rewritten. Aside from textures and sound files that could potentially be reused, the programming would require a significant amount of time and effort, and there's no guarantee it would ever happen. If Terraria 2 were to become a reality, there's no way to know whether mods like Calamity or Fraggers would ever be released for it. Personally, I love playing modded Terraria. Having access to thousands of mods that can transform the game to suit our preferences is a major reason why it's still played by millions. Whether you are into building, exploring, combat or all of it, the Tmod browser has you covered. It would take years to recreate all this. But it's not just about mods. Internally, there are deeper challenges that make a sequel or spin-off tough. Terraria's outstanding reputation and success have created sky-high expectations. A mediocrity game wouldn't make the cut, and developing one that truly lives up to the original could take years. On top of that, the team would need to move away from XNA, the framework they have mastered over the years, and adapt to an entirely new one. That's no small shift. And then there is tradition. Relogic has built a strong pattern of releasing updates for Terraria, much like Minecraft. A spin-off would come with the same expectation, long-term support and frequent updates. And with the original Terraria still thriving as an evergreen success, the question looms like an elephant in the room. Why risk it? Now the question I have, because I'm really curious how my subscriber look at this, would you like to see a new Terraria and how should it look like? Or maybe the real Terraria 2 is the mods we installed along the way. This was WardosBox, make sure to subscribe and like, and I see you next time.